Hi Taurus, this is your higher octave reading for the period from the full moon in Pisces on August 26th to the new moon in Virgo on September 9. Now, this is an extension from the previous general reading that we had using the Morgan Greer deck. I'm using the Voyager deck with the same spread. It's a holographic mandala spread. This spread is designed to give you more information about your karmic lessons at this time and what's being played out. So we have here a lot of first of all, we have a lot of major arcana cards. There is a lot of I guess you would call them deeply spiritual cards. You have at the foundation of the reading the Hermit, and the crowning card is the Hierophant. Now immediately that says to me that what's happening for you is that you're coming into a time now where you really just want to focus on yourself, where your priorities have shifted such that really all you want to think about and all you want to do is work on your spiritual path. It's really beautiful. There's a lot of first of all, you have four nines here actually. You have the Hermit card at the foundation, which is 9 in the major arcana, and then you have 3 nines from the minor arcana from the minor arcana cards. Now that says to me again that you are focusing on yourself right now, and you're putting all of your energy into a deep self-study. The Hierophant confirms that as well. The Hierophant for me is about a commitment to a spiritual path. It's a commitment to a higher learning. It's a commitment to a practice of not just meditation, but gathering skills in the world of mastery. Let's say that. I think this is a time for you to really set aside things that are irrelevant, things that are inconsequential, things that are trivial. I think this is a time for you to really also identify like what relationships are really serving you, in the sense that they are nurturing you in the direction that you're going. You know, who are the people around you that really support your path? People that are also working in their own life on their own self-mastery. Because at this point you really want to be around people who are giving a positive influence, because they are also striving for their own awareness. So you might find that people around you, like friends that are, you know, small talk friends, people that you maybe spend time with that you used to really enjoy, you might find it really boring now to be around certain people. You might find it really a waste of time. And frankly it is. You know, if you're coming into this time now where you really want to focus all your energy on cultivating your chi, on cultivating your understanding of self, on looking at your life and how you can attain fulfillment, how you can feel better in yourself and also have better relationships and have more heightened experiences, then you want to be around people who are also striving for the same things, so you can share that space and share those experiences and help each other, support each other. For some of you, you might find that this is a time where you seek out a mentor. Some of you might look to do your own study, whether it's through online courses or through, you know, your own digging and excavating for knowledge. You know, like now is a really good time to like dig into some really good occult knowledge, books, finding a teacher, starting a meditation practice, committing to a yoga practice, finding tools that will help you stay grounded and will help you to develop skills that will actually enhance your life. You might also find that this is a time where you're breaking some old habits, whether those are, you know, certain substances that you have enjoyed that you realize are not actually supporting your growth. That might also be people. That might be also certain types of social situations. You might find that these things are less compelling than they were before, because you're really dedicating more now to your spiritual growth. Yeah. I'll tell you more about the cards that are here. We have the Empress and the Man of Worlds here. In this deck, the Man of Worlds is obviously the Man of Pentacles. And then the prompt on the card says Achiever. And in this quadrant, you have the Child of Cups with the Sage of Wands, which is the King of Wands. And again, now these 4 cards at the foundation of the reading, along with the Hermit, all say to me that this is a time when you are really willing and able to dedicate your energy to your own growth. You're striving for a better life. You're striving for a better you. And you want to uncover the latent skills that are within you. Maybe you want to take some time now to, well, it happens naturally when you start to dedicate yourself to these kind of practices. You'll naturally find that your psychic ability increases. But as you have the Sage of Wands here, side by side with the Child of Cups, which in this deck is called the Feeler. The Sage of Wands is called the Seer in the Voyager deck. So again, it's about cultivating and uncovering and developing certain skills that will give you more sensitivity to the world. It'll give you a greater sense of understanding more of what's going on beyond just what you can see. I would say here, not as a warning, but just as a reminder that simply developing psychic skills and clairvoyance in itself is not like that. Those skills are a byproduct of doing the inner work, where you start to release yourself from old stuff, old baggage, old emotional pains and things like that. It shouldn't be the goal of the journey. It's a byproduct of undertaking such a path. In the center of the spread, you have sorrow, which is the 6 of Cups in this deck, crossed by death. Now, what I want to say about this is perhaps part of your drive towards this desire for undertaking a more spiritual journey is that you're in pain. It's very, very common that humans suffer. That's part of the human experience, is that we deal with pain and suffering, and sometimes that's what it takes to give us the motivation and the drive and the inspiration that we need to actually go deeper into ourselves, to uncover our true nature, to undertake a spiritual path where we start to become a little bit more aware of ourselves and all of the things that are going on, that we are creating actually. So while you may be in pain, and that may be obviously uncomfortable, it's actually the driving force. Sometimes the problem is in itself the solution. And that, what I mean by that is that, like our pain and our discomfort is the incentive that we might need to actually do something, to improve our quality of life, to expand our consciousness, to create fulfillment and contentedness. And in doing so, when we do all that work on ourselves, inevitably our relationships will be better, our life experiences will be better, we'll have greater tools and greater skills to work with that will allow us to have a better quality of life, to create and manifest situations and relationships and partnerships and work and things that are much more highly attuned to us, because we are working on our consciousness on a vibrational level. So the central axis that's running this way across the spread here is the 7 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, and the 9 of Cups. Again, a lot of emotional energy. Now, in the Voyager deck, the 7 of Cups is called fear, the 6 of Cups is called sorrow, and the 9 of Cups is called fulfillment. So you can see you're coming from here, moving in this direction. So, I mean, obviously time is not linear, and there is no, direct unfolding of things in a certain way, because you're coming, but what I'm saying here is that you're coming from a situation, or you're coming from a position where you're experiencing sorrow, difficulty, fear. You maybe are coming from a place where you're having trouble in your relationships, or maybe just in general difficulty. Maybe you're feeling depressed, you're suffering with anxiety. But as I said, those feelings and that discomfort is in itself the incentive to strive for more. And in doing so, in like finding the willpower in that discomfort and in that pain, to point yourself in a direction where you can actually find ways to experience contentedness and fulfillment and happiness, is a beautiful thing. It's beautiful when you arrive to that place where you have the willpower and the motivation to want to strive for more in your life, to want to have a better life, to want to have a better quality of life, to want to make an improvement on the situation. Because at that point, that means that you're taking responsibility. You are taking responsibility for how you feel. And that's real. Because nobody can make us feel anything. We are experiencing situations that may generate pain and discomfort. But fundamentally, we've generated those situations through our own lack of awareness, through our thoughts and the concepts and the ideas, the unconscious patterns that we're projecting onto the world. And they manifest to prove us right, because that's what we always want to do, is prove ourselves right. So coming into this space now where you're actually embarking on this journey of self-study, you are going to gather the tools that you have been looking for to realize that you have a lot more control in the outcome of your life. You know? With your willingness to aspire for more, to seek out, to take responsibility, you will find that you are, over time, you'll get much better at creating situations that are more aligned with the true self that you are, because you're releasing some of the baggage of your old self. So for some of you, in the previous thread, as I mentioned, there are some of you who may be going through a breakup and perhaps will be having a major shift in your life where you change your job, you might leave your partner, you might move to a new home, you might move to a new country for some of you. On a spiritual level, on a deeper level, what this means is for some of you that you, as I said, you are undertaking this time now where you are consciously deciding to focus your energy much more on your spiritual awakening. And as I said, having the Hermit card here at the foundation, for some of you that might actually mean that you decide to take time to actually go into retreat and do some type of very focused inner study. Maybe you go on a meditation retreat, maybe you go on a yoga retreat. Perhaps you move to another country so that you can have psychic space and physical space from your past, so that you can cultivate and design the future that you want. Some of you may take this time to seek out a mentor or a teacher, someone to guide you in this process. Others of you will choose to take on some correspondence courses through the internet or read a lot of books. This is definitely a time, it says here, you have the 9 of Crystals and the 9 of Wands together. This is a time where you're focusing your energy on yourself, for your own healing, for your own personal development, for some of you may actually have been sick or coming out of like a physical sickness or are in a physical sickness, and you're slowly waking up to the awareness that your illness is connected to your emotional state, your mental state, and that you are willing now to take responsibility for that and take the reins so that you can uncover what it is you've created, how you've created it, and why you've created it, so you can deconstruct it and release yourself from that karmic binding, that pattern of ideas and thoughts and feelings that you are continually generating that are actually creating the reality that you have built for yourself. So it's a very exciting time. Being that the Death card is here as well in the center, that just says to me that this is a major, major transformation for you, and I'm really excited for you. These are big moves that you're making. It's not easy, and it's a little bit, it can be really, really scary, but the fact is that you know that it can't be worse than where you are now. Right? No work. Okay. So we have at the bottom of the deck the Two of Worlds, which is the Two of Pentacles. And, yep, there's the Hangman. There's the Tower again. We had that in the first spread. Again, I would just reiterate what I've said earlier, in that this is a time where you are deciding to embark on a journey for your spiritual awakening. And it's time for you to really dedicate to your own self, to a practice that will help you stay grounded as you start to evolve and uncover some hidden gems within you. For a lot of you, this is about letting go of maybe some, you know, perhaps patterns and behaviors and ideas that were part of your family construct, you know, when you're growing up. A lot of us in this generation at this time who are, you know, undertaking this particular kind of work are realizing how much the ideas that we have and the beliefs that we hold and the types of situations we end up in are the sum total of the things that we learned when we were children. Some of those things are beautiful and powerful and good, and some of them really need to be deconstructed and unraveled so that we can create new thought forms that we put into the world that are much more true. Those ideas served us at a certain time, but perhaps not anymore. We've outgrown those things. Maybe we're looking for a higher vibration of living that creates a much more harmonious and contented, fulfilled lifestyle for ourselves and the people around us. And of course, when you do this kind of work, it's very personal, and it's definitely about your own satisfaction, your own health, your own wellness, your own happiness and well-being. But the net result eventually is that everyone benefits. So for some of you, if you're questioning whether or not you can actually do this because it might feel really selfish and it might feel like you will have to say no to some people for certain things, maybe people who have been relying on you and depending on you for your time and resources until now. Perhaps this is a time where you're learning how to say no so that you can dedicate yourself to your own practice and your own needs, so that you can recover and reclaim your energy and feel much more whole and contented. And eventually that will mean that you're actually able to give a lot more. But it sometimes can be difficult to learn how to say no. So, yeah, studying yourself. Fundamentally, this is a time of self-study. This is a time of commitment to your spiritual path. It's a time of cultivating discipline. It's a time of striving and aspiring for more for yourself, for a greater quality of life, by addressing issues around pain, around loss, around dissatisfaction in life, and finding a way to become transformed and taking those difficult things and that painful stuff to transmute it and transform it into something that you can actually use to springboard yourself through life, to gain life skills, to gain understanding, to gain awareness, and to be able to move forward into a much more whole and fulfilled sense of self. Yeah. Okay, Taurus, that's your higher octave reading for the full moon from August 26th till the new moon on September 9. I'll put the link for the general reading that I did with the Morgan Greer deck in the description box below so that you can have both of them together. I would suggest that you watch both of them again now, and then perhaps in another week's time you can sit down and watch them again, because you'll collect different pieces of information out of all the things that I said at different times relevant to certain things as your life and events unfold. So I hope you found this beneficial. I'm sending lots of love, and I'll see you in the next cycle.